Welcome to the fall of 2025. It- Nice and cool in the mornings again and less humidity. It's favorite times of year. I'm wearing black today because wife and I were at another funeral, and the day before that we were at a different funeral. Unfortunately, it makes us think about life and how long it is and what we want to do with our days. And I had a birthday recently, and got me thinking about how I started giving a little bit more on each birthday since I was about 40 years old. And it's been a wonderful journey, and involving my kids in a way here and there as time was available to do that. And I could coordinate my schedule, which sometimes isn't very easy. So at the time, oh, some years ago now, my goodness, I started listening to a contemporary Christian music station called, it's 99.1 FM, contemporary Christian music. And today, by the way, there's another one, 95.5 PLJ. It used to be a hard rock station, but today it's contemporary Christian. K-Love is what it's called. So you can get it on the internet too. Highly recommend it. Uplifting, positive music. And they had this challenge on there where they would go to, I believe it was a Burger King or McDonald's, and pay for somebody's meal anonymously. It was either the car behind them that they would pay for, or they were in the store front, however you want to put that, and it would be the person driving through, and they were just saying, I'll pay for whatever that person's meal is. And it's just very rewarding to see the surprised look on their face. And sometimes what happened was they took the opportunity to pay it forward or backward in that case and pay for the person behind them. And then that person would pay for the meal behind them. And I remember one time somebody called in because they would ask for people's feedback on what they did. And I actually said, here, go on to their website, I think at the time, and they said, print out this little thing, or you can write it on a piece of note card or something and give it to the person at the drive through and say, this is from the person that paid for your meal. They just wanted you to have a blessed day and do this little thing for you. And they have this little note. And it was maybe, hey, if you need prayer for anything, or you can feel free to call this number. It was the number of their church. And just something like that to lift their day or to connect them with a faith group in the area if they were open to it, you know? So, yeah. And sometimes people would call and say, you know what, it went up to 15 cars back, people paying for other people's meals. That's pretty cool. So just think if you went out one day and paid for somebody's meal, maybe it's $7, whatever it is through a drive through, right? How much you're going to spend? I don't know. Not much, right? And then that person's life is lit up just a little bit that day. And then the person after that, and then the person after that. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's just one and done. But you don't know. You never know how your blessing is going to affect how many people. And that's the cool part. You just don't know. But you just do it because it's fun. At least I thought it was. So I did that on several birthdays, and sometimes I would set a limit, like this year, I'm going to do $40. I'm just going to wait. I was in the store sometimes, and at the time, I would be traveling through the area of Chester, New Jersey, if you know where that is. So there was a Burger King there. So I would do it there in front of the shop, right? And as a matter of fact, I think that Burger King is gone. I think there's now a Panera Bread there or something. Not quite sure. At any rate, it doesn't have to be Burger King, it can be somewhere else. But after that, I got involved in some other things at the church. There was one that was started by, as a matter of fact, I believe he's the colonel now, and he is the superintendent of the police of the state of New Jersey. I'm trying to think of his title, but it was Patrick Callahan. I believe started Hope in the Hills of Warren. It was a mission that we did from Trinity Church in Hackettstown. They may still be doing that. And where we did odd jobs like painting or fixing fences or whatever it was at people's homes throughout Warren, New Jersey. And that inspired me to start a part-time business uh, to supplement my income at the time. For I think it was around like 12 years I did that while I was up in the area until I moved and fixing stuff at people's homes. But now and then I would do stuff for free on my birthday, especially if I saw somebody's yard wasn't looking too well kept, or I saw something was broken, like the mailbox, uh, that was down the street. So we had been driving, we had walked with the kids down the street many times, and we walked past this sad mailbox. And maybe you have one on your street. And just in case you have a sad mailbox on your street, I'm going to recommend that maybe you think about doing this because it's fun. Uh, I got the idea one day to replace that mailbox. And the girl that lived there was actually doing some babysitting for us. So I knew that they were nice people. And they don't have to be nice people for you to do something nice for them. Because sometimes people don't even believe that there's good in this world. Sometimes, if you can, what you just think about that. Some people get so hardened because some people get damaged. People get taken advantage of, and they've never had somebody do something like this before. And that's actually what was shared with me later when this happened. So I took my daughter to the Home Depot and we picked up a mailbox very similar to the one that they had. And we picked out one of those packs of letters that's cost like $2. And we put them on there with their last name and the number and went out in the middle of the night. And my daughter still remembers that. And these are the things that I think stick with kids and give them a heart to do things like this for other people, to have a giving sense in them, to want to do things like that because it was fun. I had her hold the flashlight with me. I told my wife at the time what we were doing, and she was like, "Don't get caught" or something. I forget what she said, but well, we had a dead end street, so uh, I didn't really think there was going to be much traffic. So you might have to just get the permission or just let somebody know that you'd like to do this for them. You don't have to do it in the middle of the night, but I'm a surprise guy. Some people don't like surprises. Some people are a lot like cats. Like cats don't like the unexpected. You bring a box out of the attic, they have to sniff every square inch of that thing. They like to know their territory, right? Well, some people are like that. Uh, they don't like the unexpected. So, but we went out. It was probably around 11 o'clock at night, not too late, but it was dark. And I had my daughter hold the flashlight. It probably took 5 minutes for me to just kind of zip these screws out of the side of the mount and put the new mailbox in place. And then we went home and excited. And yeah, that young lady, I'm not sure how she figured it out, but she came to our house the next day in tears with a note that she wrote. And she was so excited, but she was very touched. And I remember her saying something like, "You have no idea." She says, that's the nicest. I'm sure she was just emotional. I'm sure other people have done nice things for her, but she said that was the nicest thing anyone's ever done for us. And that just touched my heart, and we gave her a hug and we said, we're glad that you like your new mailbox. And, went on from there to do other things, cleaning up people's yards and doing different things here and there. As a matter of fact, after that, at our church, Pastor Frank Fowler at the time, some years ago, started this thing. I was on the ad board. I remember sitting at the table when they started talking about feeding the 5,000. So they had this quest that they were going to figure out how to feed 5,000 people in a weekend. And he just figured it out. He was like a master delegator. And it was really wonderful how it came together. All these different people figuring out, okay, the different groups of people are going to drive their cars from here to there and everywhere and distribute 5,000 meals throughout New Jersey and the surrounding area to Pennsylvania. And we did that several years. As a matter of fact, there's a commercial that I put together because I enjoy doing videos and stuff. And I've done them in lots of different ways, family videos and different things, but did one for the church. You can probably still find it here on YouTube if that's where you're seeing this. And that was fun. And so when I was dating my wife, she was involved and she and I distributed those meals. I know one year, I think it was my daughter and I went down to Atlantic City. And then that year, uh, my fiance at the time, she said that's what she wanted to do for her birthday. And I was surprised, but I was like, that's very cool. Let's do that. So I believe she got like 30 boxes from the craft store or something. And then we put in there, uh, I think it was turkey sandwiches with a bag of chips, a pack of cookies, an apple, and a note in there, with a scripture in there that God loves them and that we love them too. And sometimes we would pray with people if we had the time. And we went to Penn Station. That's what she decided to do. Penn Station. We got some warnings. Very, cautious family members were well-meaning and just saying, I don't know if you want to do that. But my lady's got some guts, and when she puts her mind to something, she does it. And it was just one more confirmation that that was the lady I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. A lady that had a heart for other people, the homeless and people needing help, just a meal. Sometimes they would ask, can I get a second one? Absolutely. You know, Maybe they have a friend that was not able to come out, or, it could be for later. Okay, it doesn't matter. But it felt so nice to be able to do that together. And even recently, took my son with me up the street here. There's a lot of houses here are empty half the year because there's kind of a vacation area down by the shore. And I wasn't sure if anybody was living there at the time because I knocked on the door. There was just gigantic pile of leaves on the side of this person's property, and I wanted to ask because it was going to take some kind of an effort. I wasn't going to do this one in the middle of the night. I was going to need some help. And I knocked on the door, and you could see all the red, white, and blue stuff. And there was a mat there that said American veteran or something like this. United States, I think it was Army. I'm trying to think if it was Marines. Anyhow, I got no answer. And I just decided, you know what? We're just going to take care of this because it's been sitting here. It's going to start snowing soon. This is a couple years ago. I said, I got my son. I think we bagged 55 bags of leaves. They come in 5 packs of 5. You can get the paper ones, and they were like, it's like $5. It's like $1 a bag, right? So we bagged up 55 bags of leaves. My son actually got stung by a wasp. It was his first wasp sting. I remember that too. So we paid a little bit of a price there, but yeah. So we did that. And we never left a note or anything. We just completely and honestly did that right down the street. And it felt good to do that, to show him that it's okay to do this kind of thing. Yes, we don't know those people, but I do know one thing. Somebody in that house served our country and put their life on the line. I knew that. That was enough for me to do something for them. One afternoon, took us a couple hours, got it done. I have no idea if they'll ever lost a body part or anything like that. Once in a while, I still do see them, and I should probably stop by there sometime. But I don't really want to tell them, "Hey, I'm the guy that did your leaves." Make them feel obligated or anything. But maybe someday I'll stop by there and just let them know that they have neighbors that care and appreciate their veterans and not looking for anything for it. So, just in case you find someone on your block that has a sad mailbox, think about doing something for them on your birthday. You don't have to wait till your birthday, but it feels good to do that. To just know that it's your birthday and you're doing something for someone else instead. You know, you can bless your own life and those you involve. Maybe it's your wife or your kids also. Make it a blessed day.